What's up, everybody?
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday, gamers! Yo,
Happy
what the heck is up?
Friday. We have made it to another week down on daily gaming news. Kaisa, how's your Friday going?
It's good. I just came up to San Francisco, so hence the Zoom background and much lower camera quality. Also, no gun mug, but I'm making do.
Nice. We got to get you a portable one now.
Yes, I got to take it with me wherever.
That's awesome.
How's your Friday?
It's actually starting off pretty strong. Just dealing with a lot of stuff with our film and getting things ready for DGN, and then probably going to stream a little later after DGN. Possibly, I got a Warzone tournament that I'm going to be playing in this weekend. So get some practice going with the squad.
So if you haven't followed Marrone on Twitch yet, you can just follow him right at Marrone __, I believe. There we go. Click on that name, give him a follow, check out that Warzone gameplay, because I know a lot of you have been asking for it for a while now.
It's finally happening.
Getting a stream. It's finally here.
It's finally occurring.
So today is like a fun, a little bit more casual news day as we cover all of the questions that you have sent us through your mailbag. There's some longer questions in here, some articles that you sent to us, some general just like, why should I buy an Xbox Series X? Or some people shouting out, games from developers that you personally know. So we're going to get through all of that.
But before we get started into that, for Daily Gaming News, I am Marrone.
I am Kaisa. We are your hosts for today, bringing you the latest gaming news of this Friday, September 4th.
So jumping right into those mailbag topics, as well as some other ones later on, is our first one, which is really awesome. This was submitted by Guff Waffle, which is Left 4 Dead 2's update is coming 11 years later.
The Left 4 Dead series has fostered fond memories for many of us, given its status as one of the most enjoyable zombie experiences in gaming. From fighting hordes of the undead and boomers to everyone on your team tensing up at the sound of the tank's music humming in the background, Left 4 Dead 2 in particular quickly established itself as an iconic co-op shooter that brilliantly iterated on its predecessor.
It really did, and while fans have held out hope for a Left 4 Dead 3, that dream may unfortunately not be realized anytime soon. However, community updates and mods have allowed Left 4 Dead 2 to thrive for years after its initial launch, even after it stopped receiving official content from its own developer.
Although hopes for a Left 4 Dead 3 have been dashed, we are not announcing a Left 4 Dead 3 at all. Valve has not necessarily forgotten about the series. Community mods and ideas, have received a lot of love from Valve and have paved the way for exciting new ways to reimagine existing games in the franchise. This could potentially explain the reasoning for Valve's recent announcement that Left 4 Dead 2 would be receiving a surprise update for the first time in 11 years.
And this right here is the trailer for the new Left 4 Dead 2 update. So calm.
Calm before the storm.
I feel so safe. Wow.
The Last Stand.
Coming soon. That's crazy. So for all you Left 4 Dead fans out there, it's something to be excited about, as it was only released on August 26th, and it looks like a promising mod that will take us back to the world of Left 4 Dead 2, and we get to see that quick overview of the map that we'll get to play on, and it looks to be this eerie forest, lighthouse on a cliff. It seems similar to the one seen in Left 4 Dead, but this could be deceiving.
It's worth noting that users on Reddit have quickly pointed out that this update is being officially supported and promoted by Valve. It's on the official Left 4 Dead website. Likewise, while the map may seem like a port to some, the fact that numerous community members are working on the project makes us think that there's a lot more to be revealed.
So the new campaign has the potential to be an exciting and unique experience that can hopefully flesh out the canon for Left 4 Dead. No other details have been released at the time of this writing, but further announcements are set to be revealed in the near future.
I'm really surprised that there was this update at all. It just did feel like Left 4 Dead was Left 4 Dead 2 at least was just kind of forgotten about. And it was like, okay, this was this great legendary game. It's old. If you want to play it, you could play it, but we're not going to be doing anything to support it. You know, and this news of this new update, I think, is huge.
It really is a game that hasn't been touched in 11 years. The modded community and the community within Left 4 Dead just being so strong and ever present to continue to see this game succeed. The fact that we get this update rolling out, I think it's been in Valve's interest to jump back into this series and show off what they can do, especially with the new hardware that we have with these PCs. Imagine the RTX 30 series cards with Left 4 Dead.
Yes.
Just imagine some of the stuff that we can do now with multiplayer and even leveling your character up. I mean, there are so many potentials there for this game that this was one of those really strong PvE experiences that a lot of my friends and just random people that I met that built friendships came from playing a lot of Left 4 Dead.
I never played Left 4 Dead 2, during the big wave of its popularity, but I did play it like last year and it still held up pretty well. It was fun, even though I did play it solo with just like AI on my team, I still thought that, this is a super great game. It's just really fun.
It really
and it doesn't really get repetitive.
No.
In the comments of the trailer of this video, there are so many people just being excited that like, hey, there are other Left 4 Dead 2 fans. Like I thought we were all gone. I thought we all kind of disappeared or, grew older or whatever. But, the community is still really there, even though we might have not really heard anything from them in a while.
Yeah, exactly. And I love this, the footage there, like Dark Sanity was saying, against the tanks. You have the tanks that you have to worry about. It was always that music that would be like, oh no, I got to deal with this while I'm dealing with this horde at the same time. There were so many elements of Left 4 Dead that just made it so enjoyable to go through with, on your own or with friends or just random teammates online, because it just had this, it had like this perfect pacing to it that it felt overwhelming and challenging, but it wasn't too much so you didn't want to keep trying.
Yeah, exactly. There were moments where maybe it felt like there were too many zombies coming at you, or you had to wait too long for like the helicopter to come and save you.
Yeah.
But you always felt like you could win. You always felt like you could, actually make it there, complete the mission, save yourselves.
Yeah, and it was always such a rewarding experience too when you got to the end of a Left 4 Dead mission and you made it out of there. It was always like, yes, like, it's like the feeling. Yeah. When you get that feeling from like a win in the Battle Royale, I would say like Left 4 Dead was like that first, like the intensity just built up and you just screamed and you annoyed your parents or your spouse or your dog or whoever was around you because of that primal cry.
For real. So glad to hear about this update. Glad to announce it. Thank you so much, Guff Waffle, for sending that in, for having us share it with everyone in the DGN community.
Thank you so much for that mailbag contribution. And the next one that we have is one that we briefly mentioned on, but didn't do like a really big enough deep dive into this on one of our segments not too long ago, is that there is a new Xbox experience rolling out to Xbox insiders.
So Microsoft began rolling out its new Xbox experience, an upgraded user interface that'll be consistent between Xbox platforms, including mobile apps, Xbox Game Pass on PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Microsoft revealed details on the new UI in mid-August, but beginning Tuesday, players will begin seeing it for themselves for the first time.
So portions of the new design were available last week, but Microsoft will continue updating the layout and its features until the Xbox Series X is released in November. Microsoft said that players shouldn't expect a drastic change on Xbox One, but that the update will bring the UI in line with other experiences on the PC and mobile devices, like rounded title edges and updated fonts.
Microsoft also said players can soon begin customizing their experience with profile themes, including ones from Xbox Games Studio games, and those will also be available on the Xbox app for Windows PC too.
So the last feature that was discussed in last week's announcement is the ability to sign in on multiple devices at the same time. Though players on a single account can only play games on one device at a time to ensure that progress saves and achievements stay up to date and synced. But it does mean that you can, for instance, watch a movie on your Xbox console while playing a game via the cloud on your phone.
That's really cool. So Microsoft said there's still more to come as it approaches the Xbox Series X launch in November. The company hasn't announced the exact release date for the next generation console.
This makes a lot of sense too, especially with having that ability of either watching the movie on the cloud or playing the game on the cloud and vice versa. Because if you already have that account and you've got all your stuff on your Microsoft account, you don't want to have to like go and download the Netflix app and then sign in on Netflix on your laptop to then maybe watch something on Netflix while you're gaming at the same time. This now just streamlines that process, and it's a really cool feature that I think is going to do well for them, especially with the Games Pass and their xCloud service.
I think so too. Making the experience really cohesive, having it work across multiple devices, being able to log in, I think is so important, especially today since, I'm in a new city on a new computer. Even logging into Discord, I had to do a bunch of CAPTCHA and then got my password wrong and then do a bunch more and then have to go find my phone to do two-factor. And then also I had to reply to an email to verify. And it was just like, Discord, please work. And so I think whenever you're logging into multiple devices anywhere, it can always be a bit of a struggle. And I think the more they make it streamlined to want to have this app on all of your devices at home to be able to use easily and to be able to access all your games and all your files on there is really important. And I also am glad that they kind of highlighted watching a movie on your Xbox to showcase that the Xbox isn't just for games. It's supposed to be more of a all-in-one entertainment machine.
Yeah, they've really presented this new UI and the features that will be coming with this new Xbox experience to fulfill what you just said right there, which is that it is an entertainment machine, not so much a video game console. And I think we've kind of understood that from the way the Xbox One presented itself and was in the conversation around the water cooler, so to speak, regarding gaming. And especially with the updated UI, it feels like, like a Spotify kind of experience. It's very sleek. It's one that looks like will be the same experience on your TV as it is on your phone. So there won't be moments of like today when I was trying to go through Twitch on the app and then Twitch on the
oh my
computer.
God. Twitch app is horrible.
It's so maddening to try to like find things that way.
Yes.
That what it looks like they're doing is that it's going to be the same experience. You don't have that moment of like, wait, where do I go? Where's the button? What's been optimized for mobile or condensed or whatever's going on? And I think that's a really, really strong push for Xbox as that entertainment machine.
That's such a good point. Twitch on the phone app is so different from, the desktop presentation of Twitch. How you get to certain settings or certain pages is totally different. Sometimes they're not available to you. People are always asking, where is this sub button? How can I even chat? What is this about page here? Like, I don't understand. It might already be hard enough for some people on desktop, and on mobile, it's just, really takes away from the ease of use, that having a cohesive, look, or at least a good UI that actually makes sense, across different devices does really make a difference. I think especially to how much users will be using that. I really like how you can have profiles of like different games that you can have in the background, it seems, so you can kind of customize your UI experience to an extent, especially for people who might not have like a special edition console. It's still a way to make it feel like, this is your Xbox. Yeah,
that's so true. And seeing some of the comments in the chat, forgot that at the top of the show, what's in the mug? So yeah, guys, what's in the mug for Kaisa and Marrone today? You're going to have to start guessing because no hints are coming over here. Except, wait, was that a tea bag?
Yeah, no hints except for this visual hint.
Other than the visual hint. But ignore that.
Ignore that. Pay no attention to that.
I do want to say that one of the things too that I think Microsoft's able to pay attention to is especially with maybe the people who are using their products that don't game, is to the comment before of like the streamlining the experience is, it's gotten to a place now where if you have to jump through a bunch of hoops in order to be able to access something, we don't really have the tolerance for that anymore.
No.
So that used to be the case maybe like 10 years ago when these new features were coming out. You're like, oh yeah, you just got to deal with that, and that's the way it is. But now it's gotten to the point where these software developers have made it so fast to be able to achieve what it is that you're trying to do, that they recognize completely that there needs to be this quicker feeling there than, even I'll say this much. One of the things with PlayStation 4 that's very frustrating is like if I want to pull footage from there, I have to save it I have to then upload it to YouTube and then download it from YouTube in order to grab that footage. Because like I don't have a USB to plug into my PlayStation to pull the file off of there and go through that whole route. So it adds layers that you just don't want to have to deal with. And if you do have to deal with them, they annoy you. But if a product comes along and offers no more having to deal with those annoyances, you're like, okay, I'll jump over here.
I wonder how the integration with, I think the PlayStation 5 is going to have a new create button or a new share button. They're renaming it. And I don't know if we're going to see something similar from Xbox Series X or if one has been announced. But it is important. I wonder how well that's going to work with, hey, share this clip to Twitter if you're going to be able to like stay logged in or you're going to have to relog in. I hope it's a much easier process than, as you said, uploading to YouTube, re-downloading it, sending it to a different device, because it's just so cumbersome. And I think a lot of people do just give up and they go like, well, I can't figure this out. I'm not going to deal with this. Same with logging in. If they can't,
I'll just record it from my phone.
Yes, I'll just screen capture, from a phone instead.
Yeah.
I know even for signing up for Google Stadia, when I did that for a free trial, you sign up and you try to sign up, but it doesn't let you. And then when you try to cancel, it doesn't let you cancel. And you're like, this, like, I consider myself to be pretty internet savvy, and the website just didn't have any narrative line of the sign up process.
Weird.
And the funnel of that. And it was weird. And it was just kind of like, okay, I gave you a chance. I had good faith and went out of my way to try this product that I thought was bad in the first place. And my thoughts were only confirmed.
Yeah, that's an experience you as a major player like Microsoft, you're like, we can't have that whatsoever. No one can be going through that. So yeah, that's going to be really cool to see that experience in action and to see what it's like, especially on the Xbox Series X. Our next story, though, is one that is a good question, because this game did just come out, which was asked, what is Marvel Avengers file size?
I think this question, and I think an article was originally linked, but we put in a different one, was kind of posed as Marvel's Avengers is going to be a massive game. The game is going to be super big. There were reports that it would take up 90 gigabytes of hard drive space, but it's not actually the case, at least on PlayStation 4. Inverse, who had access to the game, confirmed that it will take up 57.89 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4, which is lower than expected. This file size is bound to only increase over time as there's DLC, more characters, more operations, and other things are added.
But on the PC, this number is less manageable, with 75 gigs if you're playing with the minimum specs and 110 gigs if you're playing with the recommended specs. The game's large file size does highlight one advantage of the Google Stadia version, however, and we're curious to see if Stadia will add that feature to any of their marketing.
So, Waffle guessed it right with English breakfast tea.
Hey.
Yes, there are kinds of black tea. Congratulations.
Nice.
I think that even hearing 75 gigabytes isn't that wild to me, just because Warzone has totally thwarted my idea of how big a game
can get. Yeah, Warzone set the bar for obnoxious file sizes, and I'm also expecting to see more of these games roll out and be like, hey, they accepted these massive file sizes with this one game, they'll accept this massive file size with ours. And that part of me is kind of getting a little like, wait, am I going to have to start upgrading my hard drive space yearly just in order to not have to delete a game, to re-download a game, and have to go through that whole cycle? Because now these games then aren't $60. They're now $60 plus whatever a new hard drive edition is that I have to pay for in order to be able to host it without having to download and delete.
Wow, that's such a good point. I don't know if Stadia has jumped on this as a marketing thing. Stadia, I don't know why I'm trying to help you, but I am. Because, if these games are so big and, I'm constantly uninstalling, reinstalling games on my computer because I don't have a lot of hard drive space. As you said, it really ramps up the cost, to also buy hard drives on top of these $60+ games with microtransactions in them. Yeah. I think with cloud gaming, with xCloud, hopefully we're going to see that there are these massive game files that you don't have to download, you don't have to make room for, if the cloud gaming, process is that good, which I don't think it is yet, but I think in the future that would be a good selling point.
That in and of itself right there is something that should be focused in on, and I would even hope that xCloud's doing that as well. I know NVIDIA has their cloud gaming services as well, and we're going to talk a little bit more about cloud gaming later on in the show, but it it does have its appeal when it's not having to deal. Like, I mean, a download time of like a 200 gig game is very long, and
It's long.
You know, with Marvel's Avengers on PlayStation 4, I have a PC and I have a PS4. Knowing that file size difference would probably lead me to want to play the game on PlayStation 4, even knowing I have a hardware right in front of me that could probably give me the best Marvel's Avengers experience I could possibly have.
That's a good point. And chat's wondering about if this means stupid file sizes will become far more common. I think so as games get bigger, unless there's procedural generation of maps that kind of helps with some of that stuff. But it seems like companies aren't that shy and just, throwing big file sizes at you. Gamers were starting to get really angry with Warzone and, with Call of Duty Modern Warfare about that. And we're kind of, talking back to Infinity Ward saying like, hey, there is only so much we can take of this.
Yeah.
I was also going to say that, with long download times, I don't just mean to sound petty of like, oh, I don't want to have to wait 2 hours for this game to download. But that means if I'm downloading a long game, I can't be uploading something to YouTube at the same time because it's going to take twice as long, or I can't stream if something's downloading, even if Steam decides to auto update something.
It's disruptive.
Games. Yes, it's disruptive. It makes the stream lag. It, messes with the things I'm already doing on my computer.
Yeah.
So while I will, download a big game once in a while, it's not a small thing to ask people to, spend hours and hours downloading a game.
Yeah, this is where hopefully we find the developers, and this kind of has me worried about Cyberpunk 2077, honestly, is thinking of these file sizes, recognizing what Crystal Dynamics did with this game for PC and what we know of for Warzone as we reference it is like some of these bigger titles. I don't want to be in that position of like, what is going to take up the space on my PC? What is going to take up the space on my console? I used to not have to deal with this when it came on disc. It wasn't something that I was, too focused on, or when game sizes felt 40, 50 gigs. So I hope someone's out there trying to figure out how to reduce that. And it could be that cloud gaming is the way to curb this agitation that does seem to be growing within the gaming industry of sizes.
I hope so, because, with physical discs going away, I haven't seen the price of games drop at all, because I realize it does cost more to create the disc, have the labels, ship it out, all the logistics of that, have the distributor distribute that to you. Now those costs aren't there, but I don't think digital editions are really any cheaper than physical editions. And it's like, what's the incentive for me to go out and spend more money on a hard drive? That money isn't going to the game company. It's just something the consumer has to eat. I hope that there is a solution. Waffle also says a lot of internet services are moving to capped data. I know a lot of people that are working from home and their data is, getting capped, or their internet's getting capped, and they're like, hey, I'm at home all the time and I'm working. You can't do this.
Yeah, that is definitely for like an episode later to talk more on this, the whole aspect of our internet infrastructure, our prices when it comes to the internet. Just how all the aspects of where we're going with our chips upgrading, the technology moving forward, fast internet being necessary, 5G eventually dropping, and what does that actually mean for us? That might be something to just kind of like hone in on one episode and try to cover as much ground as possible, because that's so true. These data caps are really, really frustrating to see.
I think so too. That would be a good topic to get into, especially as it kind of fits into, something we often do on this show, which is talk about gaming, but also how that extends to, the real world, or, pop culture, or, what it actually means, for people within gaming and kind of a little bit beyond that as well.
Yep. And that actually moves us over to our next story, which is where this is actually a really cool mailbag that we got, where a former WoW Guild member has an indie dev company and they're releasing a game, and it turns out that this trailer actually made it for Gamescom 2020.
So thank you so much for sending this in. I think I've got to add like a name thing, because a lot of you have left anonymous messages by accident, so we don't know who to credit this to. This was also you, Awful. Cool to hear. Yeah, so let's take a look at the trailer for The Wild at Heart, and this trailer was made for Gamescom 2020.
Here we go.
I like the audio design, the sound design.
Same. Wait, there's a game that this looks exactly like. It's like a fun co-op game.
I don't think I know it. I like the art style too. The art style's really nice.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that looked great. I kind of got a lot of Life is Strange vibes of like, you know, like everyone's in like a flannel and like the woods and, you know, the kind of the art style with the little arrows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
It is. I can't believe this game is like skipping my mind. I was playing it with Kika. It's on PlayStation. It's like bikes and something, and you're these two characters. There's one character that's just moved to town, and the other one's already like living in this town, and you befriend one another, and you like ride these little bikes together. And the art style is the same. I wonder if it's the same developer too, because like that was the part for me that I was like, this looks like that game, but just a new version. Like with like Life is Strange, they did their new those devs did a new game, but it looks very similar to Life is Strange. Oh, I can't remember it, but it was so much fun. It's so much fun. That's why I was like, oh, wow, this looks like that title. I'm excited.
I hope it comes back to you. So Moonlight Kid's upcoming game, The Wild at Heart, has been one charming Pikmin-esque adventure so far, thanks to an intriguing story about childhood escapism that sees two kids stumbling into a strange and unique fantasy world, gorgeous artwork, and highly enjoyable gameplay that sees players leading their new spriteling buddies around, solving various puzzles, and battling the occasional troublemaking creature.
The new trailer has a whimsical tone like everything else seen from the game so far. There are a few new touches sprinkled throughout it. Aside from some peeks at new enemies and new characters and a hint at a deeper story, one notably significant part seemed to be a look at how Wake's friend Kirby fits into the gameplay. While Wake is equipped with a gust buster that allows them to vacuum up and move objects, it appears Kirby will be able to fit into certain spaces and passages that Wake can't get into, setting the stage for more obstacles to overcome. And of course, it all still looks and sounds fantastic. That music was amazing. Plus, on top of all that, with the trailer finally confirming the 2021 release window for the game.
It looks like we'll have to wait until next year when The Wild at Heart sees release for PC and Xbox One with Humble Games as the publisher, but it seems like it'll be worth the wait. Also, Hardcore Gamer, which published this article, abbreviated Xbox One as XB1, which I've never seen before. And I was thinking maybe we could have another developer interview.
That would be cool. That would be very cool. Put out some feelers there, and we can chat. We can chat about this Wild at Heart game. By the way, Kane got one of the flavors correct. So raspberry is one of the flavors in what it is that I'm drinking. No more hints. No more.
No hints.
I love games like that. You know what I mean? Like that vibe, that feel. Just the wholesome nature and tone to that game. It's very nice when you go from playing super serious shooters and just that feeling of intensity to just be like, I'm chill. I love this like wonderful music that I feel like I'm just kind of like basking in a cloud as I play this game.
I definitely have different games for different moods. Like if I'm feeling like competitive, I'll go into Valorant and only play one game because I don't think I actually like Valorant. But like before I go to sleep, I'll play Breath of the Wild, and that's kind of my turn down game or whatever. I could see, this game, The Wild at Heart, being like, oh, I just need like a breather, like a break from work or something, turn on rainymood.com, which is just like rain ambient sounds, and like turn on the AC, play this game.
Yeah. What's up, Valley? Cool. I had no idea that that's a real thing. Like the rainy. Yeah. It makes sense when I think about it. It's like you can do like the meditation and power nap type music, to help you do that. So that makes sense that people are just like, I just want to listen to the rain.
Yeah, I just want to, especially in LA where it doesn't rain
Yeah.
at all. It
What
hasn't
is
rained
rain?
in 6 months. I don't know. So I live for games like this that have like rainy and a lot of ambient sounds, because I just hear a lot of leaf blowers and like the skid sounds when a car just starts like revving really fast. Yeah, that's what I hear in my apartment.
Construction. That's always happening. Yes. Yeah. The random passerby that just yells way too loud.
Yeah.
No, I want to see. I think there's something for me that's like, it's kind of the same appeal of Fall Guys, that feel, the look, everything that comes with it is, and I don't know if this exists, but something along the lines, because they mentioned Pikmin, but like a MMO type game that has that feel, right? That has that vibe to it, the art style, like a wholesome MMO. I don't know again if this exists. And oh my God, Kai, thank you so much for the dono.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Something wholesome in the MMO genre would be just really cool to kind of like break up that, like we said, that intense feeling of what some of these other games can bring.
Maple Story 2 was pretty wholesome as an MMO. I only played it for maybe like 15 hours or something, but it was just like all like nice sounds and everyone's nice, and it is very anime. So if you're not into anime, then you're not going to like it at all. Got it. But it wasn't, quite the vibes of the Wild at heart. But I would also like to see, more games that kind of venture into that, because I think a lot of gamers, need that right now. A lot of people would be really interested. Not everyone wants to listen to like driving fantasy music all the time and like dark armor,
Yeah, exactly. So that would be like, if somebody can figure that out, or we see a game come out like that, which I wouldn't be surprised with. Again, those NVIDIA 330, the NVIDIA 3000 graphics cards are just crazy.
Monstrous.
And the hardware that we're going into with these SSDs processing so quickly, it'll be really exciting to see what ends up happening with this genre of storytelling that we've seen in games.
I think so too. Thank you so much, Kai, for continuing your gift sub from Coombs. Happy September. Oh, let's get it. So the next topic we got a question that said, would you do a segment about ridiculous and funny games or worst game of the week? What do you think, Marrone?
I think, yes, we will. And today we're going to start with a game known as Super Blood Hockey.
When I saw this game, I was like, there's no way it's real. It's real. So Super Blood Hockey was originally released in 2017, but is now getting a physical limited edition on Nintendo Switch with some extras.
So one of the things about Super Blood Hockey is it lets you create and manage your own team in a violent dystopic world of no rules, fast-paced arcade-style ice hockey action. You're able to adjust training regimens, control diets, administer black market pharmaceuticals, and provide healthcare, or not, to a ragtag team of prison convicts at the mercy of your underhanded tactics. And it has 4-player local multiplayer, which means you can paint the ice with the blood of your friends.
So, as chat says, this game got pretty good reviews. This game has a 66% on Metacritic and a very positive review on Steam. A lot of the comments are saying that this game is super fun, it's really wild, and pre-orders for the physical edition are available in the US at the Premium Edition Games website. It retails for $39.95, which is a bit steep for the game style you see on the screen, but a lot of people might think it's worth it. And you also have to pay for shipping and handling on top of that $39.95 for this game. Pre-orders run until September 22nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, and their website says that production may take 3 to 4 months. So if you're interested in this game, it's pretty expensive, and you're going to have to wait a long time to get it.
Yeah, and it actually was said that it will serve as a Premium Edition's international shipping partner, is Video Games Plus, sending copies of Super Blood Hockey to anyone, anywhere, except maybe North Korea, even though North Korea has a team in the game.
I have never heard of this game. Yeah, you can like have black market pharmaceuticals. You play against North Korea. It's super bloody. There's like, you have to take care of everyone's like physique. You're all prison convicts. This game is wild. It
really is. I'm going to throw on the sound just to hear the game in action. This is my first time witnessing it. The blood everywhere is hilarious.
Like
someone's talking over top of it.
Probably from a game called Super Blood Hockey. You can body check any the EA Sports NHL franchise if you were looking for like a 2D representation of that, and you're like, oh.
So it's that like typical like
it's like retro style
music. Yeah. It looks fun. I don't know, $40.
$40 is a lot, plus shipping and handling.
Yeah. I'm also so curious about like, do your characters eventually die? Because that's a lot of blood just everywhere. Oh wow, and there's a huge fight happening, so blood's going everywhere. Do characters end up like?
They're not even playing hockey anymore.
No, now this is just straight fighting.
It looks like some players are dead. Yeah, it makes me wonder if you need to even like give them medicine if they're not going to die anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what does anybody, I'm curious, besides the gameplay. Oh, here we go.
So apparently it's on Steam for $14.99 if you don't want to buy the physical Nintendo Switch edition.
That'd be something to check out. I think the multiplayer would be fun. That would probably be the biggest aspect about the game is having that multiplayer experience with your friends and just being like, guys, you ready for some super blood hockey? Oh, I'm so ready.
Super blood hockey! I was going to slot in for this question that game about sitting on a plane and the simulator of just like sitting in flights and having a flight attendant come to you.
Yes.
But we already mentioned it. So when we found this one, I thought it was the perfect one to slot in. Also, chat says someone's downloading Doki Doki Literature Club for this weekend.
Oh, snap.
Great to play. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, seriously. Let us know your thoughts on that. I have yet to go through it and play it because I'm probably not going to go through it and play it because I heard enough about it to be like, yeah, not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Well, the next section of our mailbag, which would be the final part of today's episode regarding the mailbag, is a rapid fire section. So we'll be as rapid as possible in making sure we're covering all of these questions. So the first question was, someone asked, I recently saw some TikToks saying that Facebook gaming is easier to grow in comparison to Twitch because it is saturated. Is there any truth to that? I mean, I haven't really seen Facebook gaming, so I don't really know.
I don't think there's any real data on this answer. It's just a lot of anecdotal evidence or what a lot of streamers say from what I've heard. Again, to just add to the anecdotal evidence, apparently there are a lot of viewers on Facebook and not necessarily a lot of streamers. So it might be, a cool platform to kind of look into. What I've noticed with other streaming platforms and with Twitch is that a lot of the viewership is on Twitch, and a lot of people are on Twitch to, specifically see streamers and already has a built-in base.
Yeah.
So speaking about discoverability, maybe when Mixer was still a thing, people wanted to go to Mixer because they thought they could get more views to begin with, but then they couldn't really grow their channel because the viewers just weren't there.
Yeah, that could be the case. I feel like when I think of Facebook gaming, it doesn't grab me to go and be like, hey, let me see who's on Facebook gaming, who's playing and who's live. It could be almost like a generation that hasn't really been into watching people gaming, and then they're like, oh, this option's here, I'll take a look at it or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of it.
I also just feel like the unfortunate, or I guess just the public aspect of Facebook right now just deters any natural interest in anything past me checking, what's going on with my family members and friends that I still talk to on Facebook.
Right. I think picking a streaming platform is also up to maybe the community and the vibe and the branding and where you see yourself fitting in as well. I think going to a platform just because it's going to be, more easy to grow just based on hearsay, I don't think is a good option. I think you should go to a platform where you like the streamers, you see other streamers you could see yourself, making friends with, rating their stream, getting rated by them. If you like the interface, if you like the company, if you trust them, with your taxes and with your income as well, I think is also important. Yeah,
I do too. So our next question is, and I love this question because we've seen it before, so I have a guess on who this is, but it is a great question regarding the Xbox Games Pass, which is, if you can get Xbox games on PC, why do you also need an Xbox?
The answer is you don't. You really don't. Yeah. You don't need an Xbox. Even Xbox seems to have made it clear that they care more about you getting the Games Pass, and buying the Xbox Series X isn't necessarily at the forefront of their mind.
Yeah, I'm in that position as well. As like, well, I have the Games Pass on my PC and I can play those games and I can buy the games on my PC, but there's nothing I've seen yet that's like, this is what's available on Xbox and this is what's available on PC, and that there's a divide. There's no divide there really for the titles that you probably are wanting to play on a console that you can get access to on your PC.
I think it might be cool if, you know, you're a PC gamer and you also want to be a couch console gamer and you buy an Xbox, because then you have that, you know, cohesive experience across, you know, your console and your PC. But you don't really need to go out of your way to buy an Xbox Series X unless you really want to. I don't think it really offers anything in particular that you'll be missing out on.
Yeah, that answers that question pretty good. Next one is, I love this. Oh my God.
I love this.
Is there any update on Elder Scrolls 6? Kaisa, is there?
No! The last we heard was from Pete Hines on May 10th earlier this year. And the person who submitted this was also anonymous. This was probably by accident as well. They sent us an article that was telling us the latest update on Elder Scrolls 6. And it was a pretty new article. I think it was from August, but it was still referencing this tweet from May 10th, i.e. there has been no update since May 10th, when Pete Hines tweeted after someone asked him a question of, when's Elder Scrolls 6 coming out? Pete Hines said, it's after Starfield, which you pretty much know nothing about. So if you're coming at me for details now and not years from now, I'm failing to properly manage your expectations. And we all read it with that level of sass, and we're like, yo, Pete Hines, chill.
Yeah, dude, calm down. Holy God, why are you so angry? Like, just read that tweet, which you pretty much know nothing about. So if you're coming at me, bro, like, you just want to just change this language. You just, I don't know.
Change it up.
Oh my God, it's such a disappointing tweet, but also like,
yeah,
you kind of now expect it to be the case from them with how they've handled everything else at this point.
Totally.
Yeah, your little teaser trailer about Starfield was the most vague, non-informative trailer we've ever seen when it comes to a gaming trailer, at least for me in my experience.
Oh, totally. No, it was pretty much this Zoom background was the trailer. It was like,
surprise! The trailer, the background you've been watching this whole time is just the Starfield trailer.
It's the same thing. You'll get the same amount of information from it. I thought that there was going to be a follow-up, like, oh, teaser for Starfield, you know, get some buzz, then, you know, drop like a 30-second trailer. No, we haven't heard anything at all. We haven't heard anything about Elder Scrolls 6. Apparently, we're not supposed to even ask about it for a few more years, else we're just going to get yelled at by P. Hines.
Yeah, which is, wait, when did Skyrim come out?
Oh, God. I don't know if the top of my head.
2013, 14, maybe?
Wow.
I want to make a guess, maybe a little bit before that. And you have no news about your next installment of the Elder 2011.
2011.
You have no update on what is following that game. That's ridiculous. Yeah, we're coming at you, bro. We're coming at you, bro, because this is ridiculous. Yeah,
that's too much. That's too much. It's warranted that we're asking about Elder Scrolls 6. You know, Skyrim came out in 2011.
Yeah, at least Valve, when they took forever to give us Half-Life Alyx, had some excuse with the Steam store and doing everything that they've been doing. And in that regard, no excuses, guys, over there at Bethesda. No excuses.
Oh, so our next question is, why are mobile game ads constantly copying each other? I assume you mean that if you play a mobile game, there's a bunch of just like spammy looking ads that come up. All the ads kind of look the same. Some of them are for games you've never heard of. Some of them look, again, really, really scammy or kind of sketchy. Yeah. So apparently a lot of these ads are the same, is just really because they work. And a lot of these companies are trying to get whales into their game. And by whales, I mean people who might spend like $2,000 on in-game currency. So it's worth it to them to, you know, spam out a bunch of ads to get that one person to click that's going to spend a ton of money on their game. They still, you know, A/B test a ton of stuff, and there are different funnels for how they drive those installs. When I think of driving installs, the first game that comes to mind is Raid Shadow Legends. As some of you may know, you've seen a lot of streamers, you know, have a sponsorship with that, and you know, have people finish the tutorial and, you know, get installs there. And when you're in the game, there are a lot of notifications that come up that are like, spend $50, spend $20, spend $5, like flash sale, spend $100. And I would also say that we can't forget about the fact that a lot of these companies like Apple take a 30% cut of, you know, those that money that users are spending on these games, which is a lot. So these mobile games have to, get users to spend a ton of money because they want, after that 30% cut is taken, they still want to, be able to cash in.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's funny seeing the comments about whales being like a casino term or whatever. Yeah, I mean, if there
is that a casino term?
If there is a software or an entertainment company or whatever that seeks microtransactions, they seek whales, because these individuals, like Kaisa was just saying, are the ones that they're looking for. They're not looking for the person who spends like $5 here, $5 there. It's the person who spends $2,000 like it is $5, because those individuals can be responsible for the amount of profit something like this will turn in a very short period of time, because of maybe like 4 or 5 people.
I love how Skywalker says, those are Krakens. We've got to have all the terminology of, this is the Megalodon coming in. Also, when I was looking into this a little bit on the internet, I saw that it's important for an app to be in the top list of, or most downloaded apps, because if you're not in that top list, it's hard to get people to discover your game. Apparently people only look at, the top 10 or however many things are, pushed to them on the App Store. It's hard out here for a mobile game developer. And it seems like it's not going to let up anytime soon, because we've seen a lot of these ads, a lot of these spams, a lot of these microtransactions, and it's put a bad name on mobile gaming, which is pretty unfortunate. I hope it turns around soon, but it doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't. Actually, funny enough, the microtransactions does bring us to our next news topic, but that is the end of our little mailbag segment. Some of the other ones that were suggested that we did already cover in the past were things regarding Gotham Knights gameplay, which we showed on a previous episode. The DualSense patent that we shows who knows it's picking up. That is another thing we talked about as well. And of course, the ever-present feud between Apple and Epic Games.
And I told my stream chat this. I don't know if I told you this, Marrone, but our viewer base is so on top of gaming news that I had a stream and someone came in and they were like, oh, have you heard about like Apple versus Epic? Epic lost. And my whole chat was like, no, what are you talking about? The lawsuit's still going on. Like, we know what's happening. Hashtag free Fortnite. Awesome. And I was like, wow, like y'all are taking notes.
Nice. That DGM fam representing.
Yes.
So leading us into the next topic of conversation, as Kaisa was talking about microtransactions, is with the fact that Marvel's Avengers is out and it does have microtransactions, here is how the microtransactions will work in the game.
So ever since Marvel's Avengers was revealed to be an endless online game, also the game has officially launched today, released today, September 4th. A lot of people were wondering if this was going to be kind of an endless grind and, how much of a role potential microtransactions are going to play in that. And so there are microtransactions in Marvel's Avengers, but no, you can't pay your way to a superpowered character, or a more superpowered character than you already have.
So all of the skills in the game are earned the good old-fashioned way by punching enemies into oblivion, earning experience points, and customizing the skill tree as you see fit. There are stat-altering gears, everything from Iron Man's repulsors to Miss Marvel's insignia. It's also earned fairly. You can actually find these things in chests by defeating enemies or by spending in-game currency at in-game vendors. And no, you can't spend real-world money to earn more of that in-game currency.
Microtransactions in Marvel's Avengers are purely for cosmetic options, outfits, emotes, nameplates. As with many loot-based games, which are color-coded by quality from common white, uncommon green, and up and through to extremely rare exotics, such as orange gear, legendary yellow outfits are currently the highest tier available in the shop and cost 1,400 credits, while legendary emotes will run you 1,000.
So as far as how much this costs in cold hard cash, the pricing more or less breaks down to a penny per credit. But like refilling a Metro card at the New York City Transit kiosk, you can earn more by spending more. Buying the Super Credits package, which is $20 for 2,000 credits, it will actually net you a bonus of 200 credits. The Mighty Credits package, which is $50 for 5,000, is going to give you another 1,000. Meanwhile, the top of the line Ultimate Credits package, which is $100 for 10,000 credits, includes an extra 3,000 credits, whereas the basic pack, which is $5 for 500, offers no such incentive.
If you're triple checking this math, you are probably, right to see that some of it doesn't feel like it adds up, or, you're wondering how much this actually costs. So it breaks down to about $10 for a legendary emote or $15 for a legendary outfit. So do we think that it's worth the money? One of Miss Marvel's outfits and emotes has her slurp from a seemingly 64-ounce soda cup. Thor, meanwhile, can pull a tennis ball out of an astonishingly deep pants pocket and bounce it off like a tennis racket, and that will run you $10, which seems a bit steep to me.
It does. You can also earn these credits by progressing through each character's challenge card, which is basically the Avengers version of the Battle Pass. Each challenge card has 40 levels. Every time you level up, you'll earn a prize. Usually it's something cosmetic, an outfit, or an emote, but sometimes you'll actually nab a tiny trove of sweet, sweet credits. Reaching the 3rd level of Iron Man's challenge card, for instance, grants you 100 credits, and that 11th level gives you 200. Fully completing the Genius Billionaire Playboy Philanthropist Challenge will earn you a grand total of 1,300 credits. That's just shy of what you need to buy that shiny new legendary outfit.
I feel like I'm not retaining any of this information about the credits and the levels and the challenge card, which I think is the point. So you spend more money on this. And as Chad says, like, am I really going to pay $100 on top of a $60 game? So you can also level up these challenge cards by playing the game and completing daily or weekly challenges to earn challenge points. The challenges are character specific and are of the kill 15 enemies with power attacks or rescue 20 hostages nature. So far, they seem like the type of tasks you'd naturally complete just by playing the game, but you can speed the process up by spending credits. If you wanted to skip from level 2 to level 11, that would cost 820 credits. And, you know, some people might spend these credits just to level up their challenge card and to potentially unlock more credits. And it feels like an endless cycle to me of credits and playing to earn more credits, to spend them, to buy them, to spend them.
Yeah, it does. It's rough because filling up a challenge card naturally without aid from credits, it's no small time commitment. Daily quests, of which are 2 per day, earn you 3 points each. The 2 weekly quests give you 11 apiece. Even if you knock out every single challenge, you max out at 64 points per week, which you need 200 points to reach level 40. You could very well spend the better part of September hitting that peak, and that's just for one character. Imagine how much a time sink it'd be to reach level 40 for all 6. Though it's not necessary to spend credits on advancing through a challenge card, the temptation, however minimal, is there.
Apparently, the microtransactions are relatively non-invasive, especially when you consider that you can unlock a ton of cosmetic options just by playing the game. But of course, these things start out innocuous enough, but often morph into, you know, huge mountains of spending a lot of money. Marvel's Avengers is still barely out. You know, it just released today, so it's still too early to pass judgment on if this is going to be invasive, if this, you know, seems like it's going to be a big part of the game or not. And I'm curious to see what that answer is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, the reason why I'm not surprised is this is a huge, huge intellectual property with millions, if not billions, of fans across the world. The aspect of reeling people in with these kind of microtransaction systems is it should be TBE, you know, to be expected.
That's true. You know, this is a huge name. This is the Marvel's Avengers game. Of course, they're going to make a ton of money off of this. I feel like it makes me go from super hyped about this game to like, do I really think it's going to be good? And then yesterday I was like, oh, this game still looks super good. And now I'm like, I don't know if I want to get into it.
Yeah, think of the whales that they're seeking out in referencing whales that are going to play this game. Where they go, yeah, I'll drop $1,000 on those $100 packets and buy all the stuff that I want for the game because it's of little importance to me because of how much I'm earning. I mean, it's. I don't want to say more without possibly upsetting certain parties, but yeah, they want the money. What's big surprise?
They do, and I could see a lot of streamers, you know, just biting, you know, taking the bait, you know, making the investment, throwing a ton of money to level up all 6 of their characters. And I'm sure they're going to buy all the DLC and to, you know, unlock everything as fast as they can to create YouTube videos. And that's going to make other people feel FOMO and then they're going to spend the money, et cetera, et cetera. I would love to see the numbers on how much money this game makes because it looks like it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited only just to see how much it is and how steadily it grows. And that's just due to how big this game is in terms of fan base. Yes. So I'm really interested to see those numbers. We do have like a couple minutes left, so we're going to push one of our stories that we were to talk about with regard to cloud gaming over to next week when we come back. But actually, this next story is for the whole, what are you playing this weekend? You know, I'm going to play some Warzone this weekend, play in that tournament as well. But for anyone else who's like, I don't know what I want to play this weekend, well, Epic Games Store has you covered, as there are 3 free games on the Epic Games Store. That is Spellbreak, which is a battle royale, a mage battle royale that just officially released out of its closed beta and early access. There's Into the Breach, and a new arena Quake-like shooter called Diabotical.
So we're going to start by telling you about Spellbreak. Again, that's a magic-themed fantasy battle royale game. It's a multiplayer action spellcasting game where you unleash your inner battle mage, master elemental magic to fit your playstyle, and cast powerful spell combinations to dominate other players across the Hollow Lands.
When magic is forbidden, locked in the iron grip of the Vow Keepers, it's up to you to resist and reclaim what's yours, harness that raw power of your gauntlets, and tap into the unimaginable forces of the elemental planes. Soar into fierce battles through floating islands and impossible terrain to unleash the breaker within.
Then there's Into the Breach, the turn-based pixel art Pacific Rim simulator developed by Subset Games that has been awarded some great reviews.
Into the Breach blends turn-based strategy and puzzle games on such a tiny yet perfect scale that it has raised the bar for both genres at the same time.
Lastly, Diabotical also launched yesterday as a free-to-play, fast-paced FPS made by the small indie Swedish team called the GD Studio.
And I also want to go ahead and just pull up some footage of Diabotical real quick.
Yeah.
Because this is actually getting some hype. So, Diabotical, as you see here, is a fast, action-packed, fun first-person shooter filled with color, set in a universe where egg bots travel from planet to planet, transforming any interesting locations that they find into battle arenas to fight each other for fun.
I'm like, this is Diabotical. It looks just like Overwatch. Or I think the font really throws me off here.
Yeah.
So Diabotical is focused on being a fun game for all with easy to learn game modes, excitement to be had right off the bat, as well as providing more challenging modes for those who will become more familiar with the game's fast movement, weapons, and tactics.
So this is one for all of those Quake lovers that were like, I miss that arena style shooter. People are saying that Diabotical is that game for that fast-paced, action-oriented shooter that we've kind of missed, where we know the power-ups are laid everywhere. You're looking for those specific guns that you do the best with, like the big power jumps that we see there. From what I've seen, it looks really exciting, and I haven't played like an arena-based shooter in a long time.
It looks really fun, so make sure you have, the Epic Games launcher installed. Get on the Epic Games Store to get these games for free. # not sponsored. Again, these are free games. We want you to have free stuff. Redeem it.
Yes, redeem these free games. But that does bring us to the end of the Daily Gaming News Hour for this week and this Friday, September 4th, 2020.
Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we are still taking mailbag suggestions, requests, topics, any games you want to plug, or, any cool, interesting piece of news. If you want to add your name on there, make sure you write it in. There's no name slot currently, but we might add that later. And next week, or in the coming weeks, we're going to have an interview with Quantum Error, which is going to be super exciting. And we're going to make sure that, it's super hyped up, exactly when it is, where to find us, to have a killer show.
Yes, and use that mailbag to send in any questions. If you checked out that 4K gameplay footage that we showed on a couple episodes ago, you can also see the reaction video on our YouTube of that. If you have any questions for Quantum Error's Micah Jones, you can send them through mailbag, and we'll share them as well. The other flavor was lime. It was a raspberry lime spindrift. Also, next week is Labor Day, so we are taking Labor Day off, but we're also going to take Tuesday off as well. So both Monday and Tuesday will be off for DGN. So just keep that in mind. We will be back on Wednesday, ready to go with that daily gaming news. And also keep an eye on our Twitters and KAISA'S Discord for once we lock in that date with Micah for Quantum Error's interview.
And we'll be posting our VODs to YouTube as well as certain segments from it, as well as running reruns on this channel right after the show. Also, Marrone is playing Warzone right after this, so make sure you go into his channel. Should we raid you?
I don't know. No, don't raid me. Don't raid me. I gotta take my dog out. I gotta get ready.
You gotta do your
sure
things.
the crew's going. But if you're following me, I think I'm gonna go live in like 30 minutes or something. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We'll see. I'm just a heads up. It is possible that my game crashes when I play Warzone. I've had this bug since season 4 where game crashes, and in order to deal with that, I have to refresh my IP through command prompt to delay the next time that it'll crash, which means my stream will shut down, and then I have to relaunch my stream. So when that occurs, if that occurs, I'll give you guys the heads up. That's part of the reason I haven't really wanted to stream it. Is it's going to be annoying.
Make sure you follow his channel. Maybe we've got to get you a second PC, so when you restart your Warzone one, your streaming one will stay on.
stay on the whole time? Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you so much for the wonderful comments. Being the DGN family that you are, this is not possible without you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you have a wonderful Labor Day weekend. For Daily Gaming News this September 4th, I am Kaisa.
I am Marrone, and we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.